Let me tell you a story older than writing, older than farming, older than fire temples, pyramids, prophets, and even kings. A story begins before history. It is the story of how we, Homo sapiens, learn to wonder, to fear, to imagine, and to believe. It is the story of religion. Not one religion, not one culture, but the long river of human spirituality flowing across 300,000 years. A river that begins in the shadows of ancient Africa and winds all the way to the global face of today. Let's walk through that story together.
Do you know what I found? The more you know, the less you know.
When we first opened our eyes, roughly 300,000, 100,000 BCE. Imagine Africa 300,000 years ago. Small bands of early humans moved through the grasslands. They have fire, stone tools, and each other, but no gods, no temples, no sacred stories. Still, something is about to change. They're not animals anymore. They're beginning to dream. They're beginning to question. A storm rolls in and lightning cracks across the sky. And they stare at it, not in fear alone, but in wonder. And somewhere inside of them, a ember light comes on. A feeling that the world is bigger than their eyes can see. The very first whisper of the spiritual. The first signs of faith, roughly 100,000 to 40,000 BCE. So, time passes, humans evolve, and subtly we find something shocking in an archaeology record. A burial. Not just a body dumped in a hole, a body surrounded by red ochre, beads, shells, and even tools. Symbols of some type of care. Someone loved this person. Someone believed this person wasn't gone. This right here is the seed of religion. The belief that there is more than the physical world. More discoveries follow. Beads carved with meanings. Symbols smeared on cave walls. Signs that humans are waking up to a spiritual imagination. The age of the visions. Roughly 400,000 to 10,000 BCE. Now we reach a turning point. The Upper Paleolithic religion. Humans explode with creativity at this point. Deep inside dark caves, torchlight flickers. Paintings of mammoths, lions, dancing figures, half human and half animal spirits. People, these are not decorations. They are maps of another world, a world seen in dreams, trances, and visions. Even shamans begin to emerge at this point. People who walk between the physical and spiritual realms. They dance, they drum, they enter altered states. They return with guidance, myths, warnings, and hope. This is the birth of the story-based religion. The gods are born 10,000 to 4,000 BCE. The world begins to warm. The ice melts. Humans settle down. They plant seeds and they begin farming. And with farming comes the need to understand the seasons, the rain, the storms, and mostly important, the soil. Suddenly, nature looks like a living being. The earth becomes a mother. The sky becomes a father. Rivers, mountains, trees, all filled with spirits at this point. And then something astonishing appears on a hill in Turkey. Stone pillars, taller than people, carved with lions, vultures, and snakes. A temple thousands of years older than any of the pyramids we see today. Before humans build cities, they build a holy place. Religion is it not a product of civilization? Civilization is now a product of religion. The first great myths, 4,000 to 1,000 BCE. At this point, civilizations rise. Mesopotamia, Egypt, India, China, Persia, and the one we all know, Israel. Each creates its own spiritual universe. In Mesopotamia, the gods battle for cosmic order. In Egypt, the soul journeys through the underworld. In India, karma and rebirth shape existence. In China, ancestors guide the living. In Persia, light and darkness wage for eternal war. Meanwhile, in Israel, one God demands justice and righteousness. Temples rise like mountains. Priests become interpreters of divine will. Stories become scriptures at this point. And myths turn into religion. The age of wisdom, 800 to 200 BCE. Now, the world shifts again. It's as if humanity suddenly starts thinking deeply about morality, purpose, enlightenment, and truth. In Greece, philosophers challenge tradition. China teaches virtue and social harmony. In India, the Buddha seeks liberation for suffering. In Persia, Zoroaster proclaims a moral universe ruled by light. And in Israel, prophets of justice speak with compassion. This is the Axial Age, when humans begin to ask not just what do gods want, but what kind of people should we be at this point? Religion becomes ethical, personal, and psychological. The new world of faiths, 0 to 700 CE, Common Era for the ones who don't know. A child is born in Bethlehem, and Christianity emerges. A teacher in Arabia receives revelations, and Islam arises. Buddhism travels across Asia like wind over mountains. And meanwhile, Judaism evolves into a text-centered tradition. For the first time, religion spread across continents, missionaries, traders, scholars, and emperors and empires. This is when belief becomes global. Empires of the sacred, 700 to roughly 1500 Common Era CE. In the medieval world, religion becomes the backbone of society. Cathedrals tower over Europe at this point. Gold mosques shine across the Middle East. The Hindu kingdoms thrive in India. The Buddhists keep knowledge alive in Asia. And Sikhism rises in Punjab with a message of courage and equality. This is where religion guides laws like wars, art, education, identity. It becomes the heartbeat of our civilizations. The age of questioning, 1500 to 1800 Common Era. Then the world changes again. A monk named Martin Luther challenges the church. Scientists uncover new laws of nature, while philosophers ask bold questions about reason, morality, and the universe. And people begin separating the spiritual form from the scientific. But religion doesn't die. Here, it transforms into new denominations, new interpretations, and new movements. The modern spirit, 1800 CE to present day time. And now we arrive in the world we know today, a world where ancient religions still thrive. New religions are beginning to emerge. Science explains the physical world. Spirituality explores the inner world. And people search for meaning in new ways. Some turn to old traditions. Some turn to meditation. Some turn to philosophy. And some just turn inward. Religion becomes less about temples and more about identity, morality, and connection. The story continues. The human story. So, just what is the history of religion? It is a story of us, our fears, our hopes, our grief, our curiosity, our imagination, and longing to know, why are we even here? From the first burial covered in red oak, to the first shaman's drumbeat, to the first carved temple stone, to the great scriptures, to the rituals practiced today. Religion is the story of human beings trying to understand the mystery of existence. It's a story still being written today. And you, right now, are part of it. Thanks for tuning in today. This was just a 15-minute lecture I wanted to put together on the history of religion. Stay tuned to the next episode. See you guys next time. Once again, this is CJ Everson. I'm the Jewish skeptic, where we practice religion, the arcane, philosophy, and many other mind-bending attributes. Till next time.